My average client, I spend 6 to 7 hours on all the things that have to happen. So it's not a cookie cutter template by any means. And one of the biggest things toward the end of all of the things we're looking at, the goal that we're after, is I'm proving that you're getting found in searches. So I show the client, this is, where you used to be, you were, 5 pages in, you still weren't being found. I'm going to stop right there, because I know it's just like there was some Google research a while back that said, if you're not shown in the first 4 pages of Google, people are moving on and they're going to pick one of the people there. They're not going to keep searching and searching and searching.
Right.
You're walking down the street looking for a restaurant. Are you going to keep searching for 20 more? No. What's right in front of me is obvious, but it's only a block away. Great. Let's go check that one out. It looked good. Now it's close. I'm going to go and check it out. It's the same idea. So that's when I'm starting it out and I get to the point where I prove that I'm getting them to the first page or hopefully even number 1. Okay. So that's obviously the goal. But those are the steps that I do toward the end. All that other stuff has to happen, and that's hence the 26 different steps that I take them through. Okay. And starting off the process, what I do is I have an intake form. So I get a little bit more information, looking to see if I'm a good match for them. Because frankly, it kind of gets into who's my ideal client, my ideal customer.
Questions coming next.
Yep, I figured it was. If you've got a great background, if you've had success, whether it's in your career, you've got great accomplishments, you've led a company, you've made a company, so it could be a cross in between, right? You've made the company, it's now yours. So are you a job seeker or are you a business owner? It doesn't matter, because often that's the other thing. The hybrid here is it can be a rebranding effort, at least on LinkedIn. Resume is a resume. They want to see obviously those 6 things in 6 seconds or less. But with LinkedIn, you have so much more real estate. That's for you. Right? And they've even had a new thing. A feature is a new aspect. You've probably seen that, Spencer, where it literally is the curbside appeal. They've given you a bigger chunk now right underneath your intro information, your name, the picture of the name, and a little bit about you. They have this big block there called featured, and it says featured. You can put so much there. You could put a link to, like in your background here, a nice big banner that says Spencer Real Estate Group. It's like yard sign right on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. You can do it. And they've, there's just different ways like that, and that's what I go through in those steps. I'm asking them questions along the way to say, what makes you shine? What makes your curb appeal really stand out? That's really, I don't know why, but of course it just makes perfect sense to me to use the real estate language, right? But it's curb appeal. I'm looking for a way to sell them what makes you better than the next house down the street. Why would they pick you? Why would they want to move in? What makes it move in ready? Let's go. That's really what I'm after, because again, it goes back to those seconds you have. It's not just a resume, it's LinkedIn as well. If you don't pop in those seconds that you get, they're going to move on. So it really comes down to that.
No, for sure. When I flip through LinkedIn, and it's one of those platforms where I feel like Facebook, Instagram is a much prettier platform to flip through, and I might spend a few extra seconds looking at the pictures, looking at the videos. Yeah. LinkedIn is a bunch of words on there most of the time. And just if you don't see it, you don't not drawing me in. Makes sense.
Yep. And that, you know what? That's probably most of the time. That's what I see. I will see somebody has a block of words, and it's like I don't even want to read it. Right. And it's the same thing a lot of times in resumes too. If you have a block of words, a job description, basically put on a sheet of paper and you call it your resume. A recent client, that's what I'm dealing with right now. And I had to push back and say, you need to give me some accomplishments here. You need to tell me where what you've done in those positions, not just the job duties. Same thing. If you just copy what's in your resume and paste it on LinkedIn, that's not really doing you justice. There's so much more you could be doing. It really is I used to like to say that it was like a resume on steroids, but it's more than a resume. You can't even say that anymore. It's really your collateral. It's really your yard sign. What makes you want to take a stake in the ground and say, this is me? And visually, you could do it with visual. You could do it with movies. You could, this right here, you could be having right now in the front and center on your profile. So that kind of stuff, right?
It's fascinating. Fascinating stuff. So if we're talking ideal clients, just go down that because you mentioned it. Are we talking big businesses like hundreds of thousands of employees? Are we talking small mom and pop stores? Are we talking restaurants? What is who do you like to work with? So you like to work with all of them, but what's your do you have a specialty?
Well, It's always been a tough one for me, Spencer. I know you and I know this from BNI, right? It's, every day, week in, week out, you're going in there, you're giving a little bit of a pitch saying, this is what I'm looking for. Here's my ideal person that I
Right.
would love to help. Coming from that background, I even found that to be a bit of a challenge because I can help so many people,
Yeah.
different industries, different domains, different expertise. But really what makes it a good mix is when, like we talked about a little bit earlier, when I see that they're in trouble, they know they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, we're agreed. It's not working. Okay, well, what's not working? Well, let's get into it. Well, yeah, nobody's contacting me. I send off my resume. I hear nothing back. Okay, there is a problem. Now let's start digging into it. What are we looking for here?
Yeah.
So ultimately, though, the best way that I found to describe it is if you've had a lot of past success and professional results, but you're having trouble selling it,
Yeah.
you don't know how to make it shine, you don't know how to what makes it pop. That's
Yeah.
where I come in.
Okay.
Really, that's the quickest, easiest way for me to quickly describe it. And you could be in anything, but a little bit more clarity on that. I don't see myself working with a 10,000 person company
Okay.
per se. I like the small mom and pop type shops
Yeah.
because I like to help the little guy. If
Yeah.
anything, that's more my passion. And they're the ones struggling. How do you
Right.
get your name out there? I got a business card, but no one's seeing it. Do I fling them out there and just keep throwing them?
Right.
Why aren't they calling? Why aren't they coming? How, it's that marketing aspect. You've got a great product or service, but the marketing really needs help.
Right.
And I know how to do that with LinkedIn.
Now it's interesting because I look at it, owning a business, because you also have a business pages and then you also have individual pages, right? So to navigate where you go with that. I mean, if a financial planner works for a big financial planning company,
Right.
they still need their profile to pop because and probably the company also would like to see their profile pop, right? I mean, everybody's looking for more people, more eyes, more business out there, but
Yeah,
you're competing against everybody else out there in the business, right?
exactly. Well, and that recent client I told you about that had like a 13,000% increase in views. With a company page that you have, they just
Yeah.
call it pages now, but the company version of he was his own company. So he was a
Yeah.
small one-man shop, so to speak, but a little bigger than that, but essentially that's what he was. Um, he, we were able to prove with the company page, you can get better metrics. And
Okay.
he had, in some cases, he had as high as, I think it was 70,000, what they call impressions.
Okay.
So it's better than a view because it's measurable. They
Okay.
have proven that you came to the company page, you scrolled, you clicked, you opened, you read it, whatever he
Right.
was posting. So I was helping him with posting content, and we were getting up to 70,000 impressions.
Wow.
And that's what led to then, wow, who is this guy? Let's go back to his personal page, his personal
Yeah.
profile, and let's click on it and let's view it. And now that's how you get a 13,000% increase. Good content, brought them in.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy knows his stuff. I bet he can help me. Let's go to his personal profile. Now we've got the tie. And then on
Right.
his company page, he could have a link to whatever. It could be to his website, which is what
Right.
what he was doing. It all helps tie everything together.
Makes me realize, just a quick conversation with you like this, how little I know, how little most people probably know about it, right? I mean, there's multiple platform, multiple levels, and it's just like an onion, peeling back the onion, right?
Exactly, exactly. Well, and that's a funny thing. I've been posting on this not too long ago, but it's kind of like what LinkedIn calls an all-star. You can have an all-star profile. They will
Yeah.
literally guide you through. Maybe you've seen that. It'll pop up right underneath your main top section saying, hey, you don't have this filled in. Would you like to add it now? Would you like to fix it now?
Yeah.
So they give you a little bit of guidance, but you know what? That's been around for probably 5, 6, 7 years or more.
Okay.
And it's old and it's outdated. But at a minimum, what they say, when you complete that whole thing, you get, I think the stats are, you get at least 36 times more views
Oh,
and
wow.
in searches, if I believe it's both, if you have all of that completed.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if you don't have some of that completed, what it really means is you're invisible. It's back to like not being seen.
Oh,
So having an all-star profile is really, you're just in the game. You're not like
interesting.
hitting the game out of the park. So
Yeah.
it comes to mind, Field of Dreams and all that stuff. Just because you built it does not mean they will come. And that was the topic of my post is, just because you can have an all-star and have a Field of Dreams, you build a profile, doesn't mean people are going to come. You need to make sure you pop in the seconds that you get.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Jared, thank you for doing this with me today. This has been really fun. Everyone out there, I think you can find him on LinkedIn. You want to get a
Maybe.
hold of Jared, makes it easy to reach out to him. But thanks again, Jared Wiese with Profiles at Pop.
Thanks, Spencer. Have a great one.